Hello, hello, hello. How we doing? What's going on, people? Welcome back. Oh, come on, focus, focus, focus. Welcome back to another live. Welcome back to another video. I hope you are all doing well. And man, it has been a few days. It has been a few days for United, isn't it? We've gone from nothing to Santos, Darlow, and Tielemans announced in 2 days. In 2 days. I don't know if we've ever done this. I mean, this is reminiscent of obviously the midfield, but I think it'll be better than that. It seems like when we rebuild the midfield, we rebuild it in bunches like this, though. Maybe we should invest a little bit better as we go, so we don't have to keep doing it like this. But yes, I hope you're all doing well. We have a lot to discuss. We're going to talk, obviously, about the announcements of our new signings and how the squad is starting to take shape and some things in there. We're going to talk about, as well, of course, this extra midfielder, this third midfielder, because we're starting to get a lot of talk about what kind of midfielder that should be. And though, honestly, nobody knows what and who we are going to sign at this point, it's genuinely anyone's best guess. We're starting to get an idea of the traits, and they make sense, the traits that we wanted, and that's why I kind of did that poll there as well, because these are the traits that are the most important for the signing, the next signing. They want someone who has all four of these things in place. So that's going to be rather interesting to look at as well.
I can't recognize my United nowadays, man.
I know.
Face emoji.
I know. Who are we? We're not dragging out announcements. We're not dragging out deals. We're not dragging out anything. We're just going about our business and with the least amount of drama imaginable. I'm just putting together our squad here so we can take a look at it, so you can see kind of where we're at as well and discuss it. But obviously, Youri Tielemans announced today. It was agreed yesterday and then done by today and in. I mean, how crazy is that, honestly? Just the speed at which this club is now operating, getting things done. One of the things I was thinking about is just how long ago the medical that Ederson did with the Brazilian team. They really did have a long time to prepare, didn't they? A long time to prepare. 10 gifted memberships from Stuart to the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. But yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was going, they actually had a lot of time, if you think about it, to prepare for this Ederson thing. And clearly, when things were quiet and we were just working on Mateus, they were obviously working on a lot of other things at the same time. They were clearly lining up other deals, getting things done. The Mateus thing, for all the one deal at a timers, was obviously, just sort of cover of like, we're working on this, but a lot more was happening at the same time. So, yeah, we will have to see here, as well. We shall see. So, all right, we've got a lot to discuss on the third midfielder as well.
For £80 million, we could get Ghana.
I'm pretty sure they're about the same height, by the way.
Homegrown, nose carrick, etc. 6 feet and covers RB2.
I don't think we bring Garner back. Welcome to the Pro Muppet as well, Mank. I don't think we would bring Garner back. I think they've seen enough there. Though obviously he looks really good in so many different things.
Guys are bleak. The club keep handing exclusives to Ornstein only now.
You think the press pack? Well, I mean, Ornstein's part of the Athletic, but no.
Can you ask your contact again on Bailba, Scott?
I will, and I will definitely have a call in the next few days to figure out some new things. Look, there's lots of rumors going around on the third midfielder right now. The most debatable, the most hotly debatable link is this Manu Kone one, which we'll talk about in a moment, because there's a lot of mixed messaging on this, and there's a lot of mixed messaging on this one. Okay. A lot, and we'll have to see where it goes moving forward.
I both love and hate the silence they work in. I want K1 reports left, right, and center, only for us to sign Bailbu and X breaks. Smiley face emoji, excited.
Yeah, I hear you on that, Tom. Like that's the fun part, is everybody's now, it's going to be Kone. It's going to be Kone. Is it? I don't know. And we'll kind of talk it through, because there's a few interesting kind of wrinkles to this whole thing as well. There's a bunch of different wrinkles to this whole midfield situation. But if we've signed Tielemans, we've signed obviously Santos, we've signed Darlow. Not to leave Darlow out of the equation here. Darlow is a very good keeper. And, we'll have to leave it at that. There are a lot of agent... Look, the Kone one is definitely being pretty agent pushed at the moment. That's not to say that it isn't true, but it is 100% being pushed by the agent at the moment. It's the same, it just is, okay? It's being pushed by very, very much coming from agent side links on this one. And again, that doesn't mean it isn't true. But that is, of course, where it is coming from right now. And again, doesn't mean we won't sign him. Doesn't mean that it's not an option. Doesn't mean that he's not a player that we're looking at. But it is, definitely being pushed. We've seen before, though, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the player we end up going for. And I think that we don't actually know who we're going to go for in a minute. But we'll cover the links. We'll cover all of it right now. I think people hopefully have learned by now just to be a little bit careful. Be a little bit careful with all of this. That is for sure. We have to be quite careful. And there's a couple of reasons why I have my doubts on that link in general. And I'll tell you in a second here. We'll kind of go over this. Okay, why? Because let's talk through what was actually stated. Okay, by David Ornstein and others starting yesterday, following the move of Tielemans. Okay, let's actually look at what was said here. So David Ornstein went on a podcast here, and here he said Manchester United have a clear vision of what they want in an additional midfield signing. Okay. He said, imagine when you see the player profiles, they have Manu and Andre Santos and Zun Tielemans. They will want someone with fitness who can cover the ground and add complementary qualities to what these players provide, which is playing with the ball and controlling it. They need a player who can run, and they will be well aware of it. So it'll be interesting to see the direction that they go in. That was one thing that he said in there, right? He talked about Carlos Baleba. He says, why hasn't United signed Carlos Baleba? I mean, he didn't have such a good season at Brighton, and they're weighing up other targets that may be a bit better value for money in their mind. Brighton always sell for high. You're going to pay that sort of price, and you're going to do it for somebody who's maybe taken a dip in form. So there was a few things in there, if you look at what has been said over the last couple of days about the next midfield signing.
The whole muff only want players who really want them. Use the PR to show Brighton not gonna be shafted, then bosh.
I mean, I don't know about that, okay? So I I don't think we're going for Baleba. I still have absolutely no suggestion of evidence of any kind that we are going for Baleba. I've talked about this quite a lot, but we've completely pushed away from that, right? Now look, let's pull this together. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. So, but who are we going for? Is the question. And again, I just want to indicate that the only thing we know that I think we can bet on at this point, the only thing we know is that we need a different type of midfielder for that third one. We need a different type of midfielder for the third one.
This is unprofessional and unambitious. We haven't signed a single player in an hour or two, man. Hashtag Ineos out, cool face emoji.
It's been a day or two, right? It's too long. But that's what we know at this point, that we want something we don't have yet. And that's all we know.
Plays more at a different position other than LW next year. Carrick likes Storku at wing, and these Somerville links have me wondering the plan.
I think we have
questioning it, wondering.
I think we have 55 games, 50 to 60 games, and we need to play 50 to 60 games, and we need a lot of options in there to play. But I don't think Cunha's going to play much outside of he'll play other positions, but he's still in that position in general. Look, what we want is an athletic, ground-eating, fast midfielder who's good on the ball, still press-resistant, good qualities and all of that, and who is also a decent defender. That's what we're looking for. That's what we need. We need that speed. We need that pace. That's what David Ornstein said. He's got the exclusives on both Santos and Tielemans. If David Ornstein is saying it, even though nobody knows anything at this point, I'm going with him, okay, on that front in terms of the type of midfielder we need. And this is logical. That's what I was saying yesterday, and I broke this all down in this kind of breakdown here because I knew why we wanted to sign Ederson. I knew why we wanted to sign Ederson. As I compared him to Tonali in the previous time in terms of them seeing like they got a similar in terms of attributes and player. It's a player who runs like hell, who can cover a ton of ground and all of that. If you look at the players we've signed, Santos, our midfield right now, Santos, Kabi, and Tielemans, they're not there. When you compare them to Ederson, Tonali, Scott, Baleba, obviously everybody's better than Casemiro on that front, but that's what they're looking for. If you head over to Manu Kone, this isn't that guy. He's actually slow and not much of a runner. So the thing is that I'm not saying that it cannot be him and that the links aren't true to him, but he doesn't actually match what we're talking about here. In terms of a top athlete, fast, ground-eating, transition defender, it's not him. So I guess what I'm saying is what we know or what we've heard from David Ornstein and what we can suspect in terms of profile doesn't really equal Manu Kone, but is that a sure thing either? Does anybody really know at this point in time? But we have no idea. We genuinely have no idea at this point who's going to come in. But what I will say is this is where there's some debate at this point over Kone in general.
Sangare for that.
Well, we'll talk through some of the names, but here's kind of the debate. Fabrizio, in his video that he just put out there, he said we're looking at a lot of midfielders for this position, trying to figuring out the short list. It's too early. That doesn't mean it's too early for the club to know. It means it's too early for anybody to know, right? Then he mentioned that we had a call with Kone's agent in the last few days. It wasn't a video about him, but he mentioned him in that respect. So maybe not. Could be a lot of different players in there. Now, David Ornstein on Kone earlier on the Athletic podcast did not link us to Manu Kone, just so people are aware, because people seem to take the words wrong. He absolutely did not link us to Manu Kone. He said there are other journalists reporting Manu Kone, and he thinks he would be an excellent signing, but he did not link us to Manu Kone. In the deal sheet that came out this morning, these are the names we still have. That's not to say it can't be anybody else, but these are the names we still have. Alex Scott, Felix Nemetcha, Carlos Baleba, and Sander Berg. Now, these three fit into the athletic profiling. Sander Berg does not. Just in the sense of what type of player that we might be looking at. So we have a lot of different views on this and a lot of different discussion and a lot of different, beliefs over who's going to be the next guy. And we don't know. That's the fun of it. But what I will say is that, I'm leaning to Ornstein. You know what I'm saying? Because he got Tielemans, he got Santos. Nobody knows anything, but Ornstein knows something. You know what I mean? So that's going to be the person that I'm going to speak to think about most of all. And he spoke about running. I'm not getting hung up on the running. He spoke about running specifically in terms of the profile of the third one. That's what he talked about. An athlete, a ground eater, cover. Laurie said the same thing. All of that. So we have some disagreement over these types of things. We have some disagreements. We have some people out there who are saying no. We have in England people who are saying, or we have some people saying Kone and some people not. Let's see what comes of it. Okay. In terms of what happens next. But what I will say is that we'd have to be crazy to say who we're going to sign at this point, honestly. You'd have to be crazy to say Nobody knows. It was interesting as well, David Ornstein saying we're very interested in Buwadi. That's definitely a player that we've been following, definitely a player we've been well interested in. That City being willing to pay that 100 million euros is insane. The number of people that the amount of money and who they're just going to sign in that midfield, that would be very, very irritating for City to also bring in Manu Kone. To bring in Buwadi after everything. Like, good job, man. Good God. Like, yeah, we're not getting him, and that's what Ornstein said for the price and all that kind of stuff. There's no way we will get him in there. Simon Stone says that we want another midfielder and says market for another midfielder, which we know, et cetera, et cetera. They do not. Casimir's departure without a natural number 6, but the club are looking to focus on that role with at least one more addition to midfield ranks. So one of the reasons it's hard to predict based on what people are saying is that, one of the reasons it's hard to predict with what people are saying is that, people have such different views in terms of midfielders at the end of the day. Like, I was listening to Laurie on Paddock earlier, and he was talking about how Ederson and Santos didn't make sense because they were too similar. And I was thinking, I would never call Santos and Ederson similar players, personally. Does that mean that somebody thought of Ederson as a 6? Was it the club? Was it just the reporters? Is it who? Because I heard that statement and I was like, Ederson and Santos, I would never ever compare them and say they're the same at all. I would not have thought of them as alternatives in the slightest. I think that Tielemans doesn't have the athletic profile of Ederson, but certainly has more like the box to box and passing and things like that, but very, very different players. So it makes it really, really hard to kind of figure out what United are doing, because everybody has such different ideas about what players are. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's crazy at this point, and I have no prediction on it, really. I don't. I can only feed what I know, which was, when I said that we were interested in Buwadi, that was true. That was confirmed by The Athletic today, that we were one of 4 clubs to make contact in the last 12 months. I did say that over the course of this whole season, that Buwadi is someone we've been following, that we contacted, that we've been interested in. But again, it seems like the price is too high. If we talk about Alex Scott, still a deal that's, we're very interested in. But obviously, as it's been reported on many occasions, Bournemouth are saying no, but that's always a caveat of what if you put the money down? But it hasn't moved as of yet.
Pablo Barrios, the dream
Yeah,
signing
Pablo
for me.
Barrios is great.
We have already signed 2 players from PL and Mitt and said we are looking for a midfielder from Spain.
Right.
Folded hands emoji.
Pablo Barrios would be amazing, but we have no links to him other than knowing that. Then I know we've looked at him at the very least.
So who fits the bill for the athlete if not Baelba?
If we go at face value, here's the thing, okay? Here's the players who fit at face value that we know of. All right? And some of these names people will be happy with, and some of them that they will not. In terms of just the athletic profile, which I'm not saying is everything, that's important to note. I'm not saying that's the only factor. I'm not saying it's the any factor. It's the only thing we could get.
Andy McNaught suggested you may still be available.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Impossible now?
I don't think it's going to happen. I think Camavinga is much more likely. I think Camavinga is way more possible to be sold, and I think the new contract for Tchouaméni is also part of Madrid trying to force Camavinga out, personally. Look, I'm just saying I don't think it's possible myself. It doesn't seem like it at this stage. I mean, I don't think a player gets a new contract with a big wage bump and then is sold a few weeks later. It just doesn't seem right to me. Baleba fits. I don't think United will be signing him. Alex Scott fits. United obviously very interested, but very expensive. Tyler Adams fits. People wouldn't be happy with that, but he is very much a go about your business defensive midfielder, depth type signing that covers a lot of ground and is quite quick as well. They fit. Those are the English midfielders that probably fit this profile. If you want to look at it, the players in the Premier League that fit this profile, it's probably those 3: Baleba, Scott, Tyler Adams. That's probably about it. There are others that we've scouted. Noah Siddiqui. Let me check his numbers here. I'm quite curious in terms of running. Noah Siddiqui's pretty quick. Covers a lot of ground for Sunderland. He is. That would be an option that we've looked at as well over the course of the year. That would be an option. We have looked at him. That would be one of those like out of the blue ones where nobody would expect we would sign him, and then bang, he joins. Another one, Yarmouk at Brentford. We talked about him a bit earlier in the year as a player that we've looked at. Yarmouk is a runner, man. That is a runner right there. He certainly is. 20 sprints, 11 kilometers covered, and a good top speed. This is a runner right there. Now, are some of these up to the quality that we are talking about? Are some of these up to, the measure that we're talking about here? I don't know. That's a good question. We don't know. Then there's Kefren Turam is a player that we've looked at in the past that we were very interested in signing from Nice. Does he fit to the bill at this point? Is he somebody that we could look to? Quite possibly. He's also pretty pretty athletic in that respect. There's a lot of names if we start getting into the broad stream of things. And, you know, and again, yeah, Manu Kone. I'm not personally aware of him as a serious target, but I wasn't aware of Yuri Tielemans as a serious target, honestly.
To sign next TBH because I didn't see Santos/Tielemans at all.
No.
K1 is intriguing, but seeing how much weight we put on injuries, I doubt it. Goldbridge likes Dixon Pujols.
Okay, thank you for that. Thanks for that, snide remarks. But anyway, Jesus. Anyway, as I was saying there, yeah, we don't know, truthfully, at this point. Kone is a player that United have watched on a number of occasions in the past. If he's a serious target at this point, okay. I'm going off of, I haven't heard him. The Athletic guys haven't heard him. Even on the Talk of the Devils podcast, they played it down, by the way. It doesn't get aggregated. I think people are very selected about what gets aggregated. But
why not splash the cash for Buadi? He's 18, plays mature beyond his years, a midfield anchor that can dictate the pace of play, seems like the one.
I think that because he's a very much a pure kind of number 6, that potentially United don't want to spend the 100 million euros for him, compete at that price when they also have Santos at this point in time. And makes it much more difficult. So I just think the circumstances around that deal make it a lot harder to get done at the end of the day. Could Zaire Emery, you mean from PSG? I don't think they're planning to sell anybody. So, yeah, I also don't think age. I think age is important. There's one other factor in this. Because we bought a 29-year-old in Tielemans, we're not going to buy another older player. They're going to have to be young. Excuse me. They're going to have to be probably under 25 as well, by the way, just on the Sanderberg type of stuff. They're going to have to be under 25 as well. I think that's important to note. I can't see us signing somebody who's also older when we have Tielemans and Bruno, and we're trying to rebuild our whole midfield for the long haul here. Can I pigeonhole him as a 6? No, but that's where he's been playing pretty specifically, and the cost is absurd. I mean, let's look at it this way: one way or another, the cost for Buadi is a lot, and having to go again, you know, I just don't think we're prepared to spend that on someone who hasn't played in the Premier League and some other, you know, inexperience and things like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously we were very interested in him as a player, to be fair. So yeah, I just think the cost has gotten out of control in terms of value. And again, if you look at it,
K1 running stats.
Oh no, trust me, I know. Sanderberg's running stats in the Premier League are actually really good. Funnily enough, I think the age is a bigger problem there, and yeah, he's quite tall, so he looks a bit slower. But yeah, but you know, if you look at the signings that we've made so far, they're all value. You know what I mean? So I have a feeling we'll be in value range. But if we want to talk about like all the names, we've got Alex Scott, we know is a target. Baleba, we probably won't sign. But who knows? Kone, who we've watched, that one side is saying we're interested in, the other side is saying we're not really interested in him. And then we've got like, who else do we actually have as links that are left? And then it's a mystery beyond that. Tyler Adams. It's a mystery beyond that. But that's kind of the fun of this whole thing. We're going to have to see over the next few days if a new thing comes forward. That's the thing. It's like, That's the thing that comes forward. João Gomez as well. Sure, João Gomez as well. Yeah, if we get another midfielder and the value market allows to sign players in non-midfield positions, and it kind of feels like maybe we don't want this marquee player, which, to be fair, again, the club have never actually said they want a marquee signing. It kind of feels like maybe we don't want one at the end of the day. Maybe we're not trying to get this big marquee player in the midfield, but we're just trying to get a number of sensible signings. I mean, let's look at the squad really quick, because let's do this. And I know that the game is on now, but let's just look at this really quick. I mean, this is our squad right now. Mbeumo Ahmad, obviously, we see how this goes over the next little bit of time. Šeško, Xerxes, Cunha, Shaw, Dorgu. Like, we need a player here, but look at the midfield. Bruno, Mount, Tielemans, Santos, Menu. We need one more. Is it really a marquee player, or do we need another solid athlete in the middle, a solid defender in the middle, a player with good physicality, a good in the duel, strong? I think that's all we really need as an option, because then you can mix and match so many different teams. You could go with, someone in Menu, and there's just so many mixtures I could see in the midfield. You add one more good signing in there, what is the midfield going to look like? I don't know. Who knows? Like, it could be practically anything at this point. I'm not trying to bench Cobby or bench anybody else. I'm just saying it could be practically anybody, in there.
Richard Rios to Musk report today. 40 meters.
I don't think the Rios links are a funny one. Those went away for a long time, and then they just randomly come back. So there could be a lot of stuff. There could be just so many potential choices in here that we don't know and that fit. And again, yeah, it doesn't have to be a big signing. It could just be something common sense that goes in there and allows us to spend in some other positions to continue rounding out the squad. There's another rumor I want to talk about here real quick, but honestly, my personal opinion is that it'll be I'm just going to give you my personal opinion, and it could very easily be wrong. Obviously, could very, very easily be wrong. But I still don't think we're making a move for Carlos Baleba. That's not really opinion. It was very strong information at the time. I have nothing to say that we will as of yet. David Ornstein also keeps playing it down. So I moved that one to the back of my mind. It's not that, and the other thing we have to think about here is it's not that all our moves have been surprises. It's that our top of mind moves haven't worked. So we've moved to the secret ones have not been our first choice, which is fine. This isn't a commentary on our success. But part of the reason why it's been so secretive, in a sense, is because we haven't gotten those top signings in, right? Tielemans says, when United call, you don't think twice. That's a shout out to you, Mateus Fernandes, a shout out to you, Elliot Anderson, and all the rest, right? We haven't gotten the guys who are top of mind. United have been really good at working on those deals under the radar while working on their top of mind signings. If Ederson didn't have his knee injury and Mateus Fernandes, and West Ham didn't offer Mateus Fernandes a boatload of money, we wouldn't be talking about United doing secret deals and how you know what I'm saying? Like, the pendulum always swings to nobody knows anything. Yeah, we do. Because 3 months ago, Ederson, Mateus Fernandes, and Carlos Baleba were our three most likely signings. And then I heard that we weren't going to go for Baleba. Guess who we went for? Ederson and Mateus Fernandes. It wasn't like a mystery. It's just that it didn't get done. Right? It just didn't get done. It wasn't like this big crazy mystery. So now for our third signing, it doesn't mean it's going to be a mystery. We haven't failed with a third transfer yet, right? We haven't failed with one of these signings. It could well just be the obvious. We could make a bid for Alex Scott. It could be that. That's genuinely a possibility. We could just wait later on in the window and make a bid for Scott. Like, there may be no crazy surprise or crazy mystery or anything like that. It could be it could be rather obvious, is what I'm saying. It might just be that. So at the same time, I don't think that our targets are actually this mysterious. I just think we have backup signings that we work on while we're talking about those big ones, to get it done.
Balba feels like a cost play. Brighton
Maybe.
will ask unrealistic money. The quiet shows maturity, showing interest weakens our negotiating power.
Right. Well, and there's that too, and it could well be that now that the list has gone above us, Baleba comes back into the fold. We wait till later on and we make an offer for Scott or Baleba later and see if we can get a better price. It could be that simple. I guess what I'm saying is that it's not like it's not worth discussing, or it's not worth saying, if X report is playing a move down that they don't know anything because things have been a mystery. Well, no, that's not true. Nobody said Santos wasn't a real target. Nobody said Tielemans wasn't a real target. It's just that nobody knew at all, about those ones. So it's not like we have all these reports in England that are suddenly wrong just because we've gotten a couple secret deals done. We knew about the real targets in the first case. It's just things changed. So it makes for an interesting situation here where, the Baleba thing seems to be about price. If that price comes down 20 million, then he could pop right back up. Alex Scott, it's just about price. If he becomes available, or if there's a way we feel we can get a deal at a good price, then we'll get him. I think we probably have other backup targets. I think Kone probably is a target as a backup target. Is he our first choice midfielder for that position? Nope. Or we would have gone for him already. Because he's been available all summer. We would have tried for him already because he's been available all summer. And the same goes for a lot of other names. We may not sign our first choice, but we've yet to see if we're going to attempt anything yet. So we really, really don't know. Now, there's one other thing I do want to discuss, which has definitely caught my eye, okay? Definitely has caught my eye on a few occasions here. Which is, yes, we might go for other positions and wait and see for another midfielder. That's the point, right? We could just do other positions. We got news about fullbacks in the last few days. We got news about, and then we have there's some creaks about center backs. That
kind of makes
okay?
more sense than Balba, as we're not looking for an out-and-out six, especially
Right.
with Santosimo. Does Leacher get sold? I can see it TBH.
Right. So here's the question. There were some reports linking Lisandro to Atletico Madrid. My understanding, for what it's worth, is not, because the way it was worded said offered. My understanding is that if he was offered to Atletico, not offered by the club, okay? Not offered by the club. The club did not offer him to Atletico Madrid. That would be my understanding anyway. Could it be that he's searching out a potential move? With his contract running down, United have not confirmed that they will give him a new contract at this point. United will have not yet stated they will. They would want him to prove fitness and other things. They're not convinced at this point of a new contract for him. So for obvious reasons, mostly fitness related, but other factors as well. So could it be, his camp are keeping options open in case of a move, or part of, leverage and contract negotiations? Could be lots of different reasons in there, right? There might be some truth to that Lisandro and Atletico link. In that sense, it's quite possible. But then this happens, okay? And then this, okay? And I'm still I've said before, I'm not ready to write this one off because this feels like the goalkeeper situation from last summer. And it's getting even more and more suspicious here, okay? So this is what came out just a few minutes ago. Romero to leave Tottenham this summer. Inter held talks with Spurs over recent days. He's been offered as an option during talks for Jed Spence. Inter keen, but costs very high. Barca also like him. And you remember this? You remember this from Gaston Edul a month ago? A month ago? It's a lot. It's a lot like the goalkeeper thing and Emi Martinez from last year. A lot like it, where a month prior, he said we made an offer for Emi Martinez. It was denied. The club, line was we're not sure about getting a a center back at this point. Yeah, it's what he said in it's what he said in this video, that United are reaching out to defensive midfielders, agents, and all that. Thanks. I'll pull that up in a second, guys. But it's a lot like that. It's a lot like that. It's a lot like that, where we said, hey, we're not going to necessarily get a goalkeeper, and then we didn't make those offers, and then we did suddenly, at that point in time. Suddenly we were actually looking at Emi Martinez, and we were actually making offers, and we were close to buying him, but we had an alternative. So it feels a lot like that one to me, the center back thing. I think I said that a month ago. Romero leaving United, I said at the time, they absolutely had contact with his camp, even though certain things were denied. They totally did. They could definitely make a move for a center back this summer. And if there's any sort of link to Lisandro leaving, then it becomes even more viable on that front. It's definitely plausible. So I'm watching that situation with serious interest, because we have absolutely spoken with a number of different center backs over the last year. Looked at a lot of them, scouted a lot of them, had some talks, just check-ins with different representatives and things like that. 1 second, guys. Sorry. We very much have. And so I'm not convinced that we won't get a center back at the end of it, because they know the problem. They know the problem that we have. Van de Ven was a player that we looked at, that was confirmed as well by Laurie and The Athletic and all of that. So yeah, it's intriguing. It's intriguing. If we can get somebody coming in here on the center back front, because we need one. We very much need one. Obviously, Romero would not be the only potential concern there. Romero would not be the only player there, but he is a very, very good player, and I would be remiss to completely write that off and say, hey, that's not possible or something like that, because there was some serious. Again, a lot like Emi Martinez, there were links denied, but in the end, those turned out to be very true, and at the time they were denied as well. So we'll think about that as we go, because I don't think we've heard the last. I don't think we've heard the last of this center back story. Now, as I said here, let's look at this. This is from. This is the same video that.
Two cows on a hill. One cow asks the other, "Have you heard of the mad cow disease?" The other cow says, "Yeah, but why do I care? I'm a helicopter."
Thanks, Sal. Thank you, Sal, very much for the returning dad joke. Appreciate it. So this is like I said, what he said on his video earlier. Here. Manchester United are reaching out to defensive midfielders' agents ahead of next signing. A defensive midfielder after Santos and Tielemans. Manu Kone among players being mentioned in internal talks and with initial approach on player side. Not the only one. Okay, so there you go. So that's what he said. So essentially, we're definitely working on this third midfielder. Kone among the options, according to Fabrizio and others, but not the only one. Let's see what other mentions come out. Because if we're at this phase, then we should start hearing other names as well. This just means one agent has a loud mouth, but that's okay. That's all right. That happens. There's nothing wrong with that. Good contacts and all of that. So let's see what other names start coming out before we make this kind of decision and see who we're gonna get. But it is clear that the focus is on a player who is strong in defense as well. No doubt about it. So interesting days to come, but it sounds like we're moving. I'm very glad that we're smartly not just like ditching who we wanted, you know what I mean, and that we are continuing to push on this front in terms of a good defender. But I hope we get more names soon so we can debate it, because we've talked about a lot of the names till since forever. And we'll have to figure it out after that. Are there any names that I'm not thinking of? Who we talked about? We've talked about. Let me pull them up on a chart here really quick. I want to pull up like every name on a chart here, just in terms of like what type of players they are, and what they bring to the table. By the way, this is the charts of Santos, Kabi, and Tielemans. If you were to say, hey, what if we didn't play Bruno for a little or something, and we ran this midfield? Really nicely balanced. Really nicely balanced. But you are lacking some of the defensive and on-ball kind of prowess here. So here's what I was thinking. Who are all of the names that we have? We have Scott. We have Baleba. We have Kone. Again, not a defensive. I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. We have Sadiki that we've looked at over the year. We have Yar Maluk. A lot of similar players here. Kone is oddly. There's just something that doesn't make sense about Kone to me. Penalty for Spain here. Penalty for Spain. We are doing a watch along. Let me finish talking and then we'll switch over to. I'll put the scoreboard on in a moment. And for Spain here. Who else did we talk about? Oh yeah. Adams. Tyler Adams. As a handball from Yamal. Yeah, I think that's not a pen. They should take that away. I think they should take that away. So if I'm looking at this list, here's what just doesn't make sense to me. Oh, João Gomez. Okay, thank you. Here's what doesn't add up to me, okay? The lowest ball winners defensive midfielder on this list is Manu Kone, isn't it? In this sense. And if you look at it like positionally, I think it's kind of the same thing when you look at Kone. This is just why this one I just don't understand it. Things happen I don't understand. Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that. And I'm not saying I understand everything about the way that the club thinks either, right? But this is Kone. Kone does not play like a defensive midfielder. I understand he's doing sort of the job for France here, but if you actually follow how Manu Kone plays, he gets up and about quite a lot. He's more like Ederson. in the sense of, like, very similar to Ederson in the sense of much more of a box-to-box, not really a backline shielding player, but a box-to-box, gets up forward a lot. Let's see what happens on this pen here. And again, not necessarily the paciest player out there. But yeah, I'll go back to the list of players in 1 second. Let's just watch this penalty. Great penalty. Great penalty. 1-0 Spain. Great pen. Great pen. So, you know, anyway, I'm just curious. If I just look at all of this, like, I don't think he's a defensive midfielder. I think he's a box-to-box player. If you're looking for the defensive midfielders, then you have a lot of other options out there. If we look at some other ones, we've got Nemecha, not really a defensive midfielder at all. Who else was I wanted to look at? I wanted to look at somebody else. Damn, there was someone else I wanted to look at, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Gomez is an interesting one that comes back into the frame because he has been as well another strong target on that front. Oh, Barrios, someone wanted me to look at as well. Barrios is just a crazy graph overall. Camavinga. That's why I say I can't. I think about Camavinga and I think Thuram. Stiller is the opposite of what we would want at this point. So, no, I don't. I agree. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 6, but a physical, athletic, defensive-minded player, a player who can play in a deeper role for sure. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of options, I gotta say. So, I mean, we've covered like 10 options. Could be Kone, could be Scott, could be, I don't think Baleba, could be Sariki, could be João Gomez, could be Camavinga if Madrid are forcing that out, to happen. Could be, there's a lot of names that are out there, man. A lot of names that are out there. A lot. But we should hear more. We should hear more soon. We should hear about more players that we're contacting because it seems that we're busy on this. You'd expect more links to come out at this point. Let's see in the next few days. If we are going for Manu Kone, we will hear about it, right? Okay? We will hear about it. I mean, I get it. There's things about it that to me don't add up at this point. But if we're going for him, we will hear about it. Obviously, United are, moving on these deals fast. We will hear about it. We will start to get word in England as well. The other thing I do want to mention here, where I'm just saying, definitely look to some of the English reports, is there is one thing that has changed that I think people don't necessarily understand here. The club and the English reporters have been physically distant for the last 6 weeks. Okay? They're not anymore. Laurie was in LA. He's back in Manchester. We have a preseason game coming. All the talk is going to happen now. All the talk is going to happen now. Okay? All the talk's going to happen now. That means people start to get better, talk to more people, talk to more sources in person, new things come out, all of that kind of stuff. So pay attention because this kind of happened last year. I remember up through like mid-July, people are like, I don't know, nothing's going on. United are so quiet, so quiet, so quiet. Then I was out there on the tour. And every day there's new stories. Once the club get into preseason, the leaks fire right back up. It's unavoidable. I'm happy that they've got a ton of business done. I'm happy that they've got a ton of business done, early on, and a ton of things before the leaks start up. But once everybody gets back to club football, the leaks go flying. Everything starts flying out. So I do think we will get more news and more confirmations of everything moving forward from here. But yeah, it'll be interesting these next few weeks. But rule nothing out. Rule nothing out in terms of the center backs as well. But someone's gonna come up with the big thing on the midfield. Someone's gonna come up with the other names that happen here, or at least our next move. And hopefully I will be able to find some more out in the next few days myself as well. But it's crazy times, man. It's crazy times. Yeah, Tielemans should be on holiday now. He has a small injury. It's not expected to be severe, so I wouldn't worry about it. He'll be fine. But he is going on holiday now for a little bit.
Or another position first now?
Either or, man. We're obviously doing the work on the midfielders. But it could well be that one of our later, one of our midfield signings comes later in the window. It might be that is the, that's the strategy for the third midfield signing, is wait until the end of the window, to sign them, and we can get a better deal later or something like that. It could easily be that is the case as well. Very possible. But hey, man, I'm having fun.
Pull up the running stats for Camavinga and Barrios for us?
Sure. I could do that real quick. Camavinga and Barrios. Here's Camavinga. Quite quick is Camavinga. 11 kilometers, 15 sprints, 34.5. Camavinga is a hard runner for sure. I expect Barrios has good stats on this front too, considering. Yeah, look at Barrios. That's a runner right there. Camavinga and Barrios are two very, very good runners as well. That's why I still think about those guys. Like, so someone was asking, why doesn't it make sense to me, the Kone one? For me, there's a few things. Number one, on the Athletic Talk of the Devils podcast, they said they checked into it and he's not on the short list. I'm just saying what they reported, okay? Don't hold me liable for this. They said that. I tend to believe them. Once again, I know we have gotten surprise signings, but that doesn't mean that guys at the Athletic and stuff were wrong at any point. They've never said that someone was not on our list specifically when we signed them. It's just we've had surprises. They said yesterday he's not on the short list. Doesn't mean we're not interested, but he says he's not on the short list. That's one point. Number two, David Ornstein did not link him, and he was not put into the deal sheet. Okay, so it's just a big left. He's just left off all of the English reports. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody's reporting on him, and we have a little bit of a hint of the opposite. So that's one reason it doesn't add up. The second reason it doesn't add up is we want and wanted an athletic midfielder. That's why we were signing Ederson. That fell off. That's what we don't have. Manu Kone is not this ground-eating powerhouse. He's just not. I don't know what people think he is. He's a good player. He's not that player. So that doesn't mean he's a bad player. That doesn't mean he's, not the right, not a good signing, not a good player, all of that. But he's not that guy for United. He's not that player. He is not that. And he's also not a defensive midfielder. So he's not both. I mean, you could get an athletic midfielder who has good defending qualities that could play deep or all of that, but he's just not that guy. So, and the third thing is his injuries.
Than the other targets.
Yeah, Camavinga / Barrios look better. And the other thing is injuries. He's not Premier League experienced, and he has injuries. Tielemans, I know he's had some muscle injuries, but he's also very Prem proven and experienced. So there's just things for the Manu Kone one where I would go, huh? Like it just doesn't fit. That's all I'm saying. For me, it doesn't fit what we're looking for right now. If they sign him, I'm 100% for it. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's all. It just doesn't make sense to me. Other signings make sense to me. Camavinga, profile, yes.
If we cheap it out and get K1, which I'm not complaining about, does that mean we can get Vini or Barcola plus Hall?
I don't think we're going to get Vini or Barcola plus Hall, but maybe we get Hall plus Somerville and not the backup striker. That's possible. That's possible. You're going around in circles repeating yourself? Cool. I'll do it again. And I'll do it again, and I'll do it again. I'll repeat myself as many times as I want. That's what I'm allowed to do. So the other players that there's a lot of other players that make more sense to me. That's all I'm saying. In terms of what the club are looking for. Could I have it totally wrong on what the club are looking for? Sure. I don't think I am, because so far even though the names have been surprising, it hasn't been particularly surprising in terms of what we want, in terms of the types of players, in terms of the profiles and all of that. And we went for Ederson and Mateus, which per my info was the first two players we were going to go for. So it's not like it's been that crazy. It's just a strange one to me. But maybe the club see it differently. As well. But I would like to see, there's the World Cup hype, there's agents talking, there's all that kind of stuff. I would like to see confirmation from England, because so far the only person who has correctly reported the two surprises has been David Ornstein. He's the only person who did it. Actually, The Guardian were before Ornstein, but that was also in England, in London. The Guardian had Santos a few hours before Ornstein. He had the done deal. On Tielemans, it was just him. So that's why I think that. I think that there's I'll wait for that on some of the confirmations, but there are a ton of potential names, no doubt about it.
I think we will sign a left-footed midfielder, cool face emoji.
A left-footed midfielder. And who is left-footed on our list? That's the other question. You know what? I don't think we will. Because Tielemans mostly plays off of the left as well. And so does Kabi. It doesn't seem to be that important for Carrick, this left-footed thing. Here, let me get this thing up now. Have it on this. I don't think it'll be Wharton. Camavinga is left-footed, yeah. Wow. Apparently the price for Romero is 50 million euros. We should sign him. We should sign him. €50 million, man. €50 50 million euros for Romero, dude. He's insane. He's insane. He's so good. he's so good. That's such a crazy good option at center back for 50 million euros, man. How old is Romero? He's like, what, 26? That's That's a crazy good price. He's 28. He's 28. 28.
What about Sekou K1, Diego Leon, Chido? Loans?
Yeah, loans. Most likely loans, yes. Rather get Lacroix. No. Oh, the consensus is no, man. I don't know. I think this is a miss from chat. I think Romero is. I think Romero is. Yeah, I agree, Clayton. I learned from the Cunha thing because initially I was like, tough attitude, red cards, punching somebody, all this kind of stuff. And then I was just like, but maybe he's just ambitious. I mean, he's a leader for Argentina. He scores crazy goals to bail them out from the from center back. He's physically insane, athletic, great on the ball. He's it's like, and then you say, look, I get it. I get like what we've got here, but he plays a hell of a lot more than Lissandro has, even with some of the injuries. He's not that expensive. I understand the injury concern, but I do. Trust me. Have I seen how dodgy Argentina are at the back? Yeah, and I see who is mostly at fault for all of those, but people just can't accept that. 0 reds with Argentina, indeed. Indeed. Romero's had 3 bad seasons with injury. 2 bad seasons with injuries. 4 okay and 1 in the middle. 4 not much and 1 in the middle. So I understand the injury concerns. Don't get me wrong. At the same time, playing who didn't get injured, right? Who didn't get injured under, Postecoglou? Who didn't get injured under Postecoglou? The entire Tottenham team got injured under Postecoglou. It was like Ten Hag. And the style, the way that they played was like just constantly bleeding injuries. Whereas he's been fine for Argentina. No reds. Injuries not an issue, seemingly there. I still blame Tottenham for that, for these last couple of seasons. The way that Tottenham played, every one of their players got injured. So, I don't know. I understand the risks for what it's worth. I do understand it's a risk. I acknowledge the risks. Don't get me wrong. I think it's worth it. I think that it's... I'm a firm believer in it being the coach's fault when you get that many injuries. We saw it with Ten Hag. And I understand someone being frustrated with Spurs. Honestly, you've got let's this doesn't connect here, but I just want to say something, okay? Let me call you out on some hypocrisy, okay? You've got people here and all over who I agree with talking about the ambition. from Mateus, Tonali, and these guys choosing Spurs. And then you've got a player who's frustrated at being at Spurs and wants to get the hell out as soon as possible. Let's not be hypocritical. You can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the other. You can't say that players are unambitious and going for the money to choose Spurs, and then say that a player's wrong for being frustrated, upset at being stuck at Spurs. You can't. You can't. Oof. Wow, well done by Spain's goalkeeper there. It's understandable being frustrated at Spurs if you have any ambition of any kind, frankly. But anyway, I think we should look at it because I think the center back market is a bit dry. I really like Lacroix, to be fair. I really do. I very, very much like Lacroix. I haven't given up on Lewis Hall either. Don't get me wrong. I like Lewis Hall. I like him a lot. And I think we're still interested. Not happy with the money. He wanted to leave well before that. He wanted to leave well before that. Look, I'm not disputing that he gave up on Spurs last year. But do you guys not remember like what actually happened? Do you remember what actually happened? Because he was, tweeting, posting about the management there. He's already got he had a huge problem with management at Spurs. So all I'm saying is that I understand, but he's essentially been sitting there calling out the Spurs management for mismanagement. I think that's fair, man. That club has been run so poorly. People are calling things out. I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate here, obviously, but I'm not like totally like, oh yeah, it's all bad just because he was unhappy with the situation at Spurs. But he's club captain? Yeah, so I understand. And he was calling the club out, in posts and things like that for some of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. It wasn't like he's sitting there, posting on social media because he didn't get picked. He was posting on social media because the club's been a shit show for ages. But hey, I get it. I understand. I'm just playing devil's advocate, but we'll see what happens next. Ronaldo was demonized for doing the same thing at United, but he was correct, Ronaldo. It was far worse than one social media post. Yeah, for me, it's a frustrated, very competitive player who captained a World Cup win a few years ago. I agreed. Yes, Jim. Exactly. Yep. Both Keane and Rooney did it too. I don't think it's toxicity. 4 years ago, Romero won a World Cup, came back to a Spurs team that seemed to not care. 4 years later, he's yet again one of, if not one of behind Messi, maybe the best player at Argentina in another potential World Cup win. Like, let's be real for a minute. This is a player with high standards and high ambition. I think he's struggling because it's Spurs. That's my personal opinion. It's risky, but it's my personal opinion. I think he comes to United on the basis that we're going to go for titles, and he cooks. Honestly, I think. I would bet on it. I would bet on it. My gut feeling on the midfielder, God, man, I don't know. I really, really don't. My gut feeling. My gut feeling it could be João Gomez still, you know. Could be João Gomez. Spurs beat us in a final, got a new manager, Champions League. Yeah, and then they still were crap, right? Yeah. Yep. No, I understand why people have concerns. I'm not, you know, like I said, I know it's a risk. It's just for me, it's a risk I'd be willing to take. The Romero thing. Do we not need height in the midfield? Probably, but I just don't know, man. I would say Scott late on. People keep scaring me away from it, but I know how much the club like Alex Scott. It's just that I'll tell you the thing about Alex Scott, okay? And this isn't an opinion or anything. We did a ton of work on the Alex Scott thing this summer. Of all the players on our list, of all the players who are out there, I can tell you for a fact, we've had more contact, more work done on the Scott thing than anyone else without yet actually having talks or a bid. Okay? So I still think it could be him. It's just that it keeps like getting to it where I'm like, but then why haven't they done it yet? You know what I'm saying? That's what throws me on the Scott thing. Maybe it is literally just pressure on Bournemouth for the sale, and it'll just roll forward, and then pressure, and then a few weeks they'll do it. But the fact that here's what throws me: we haven't done it, and we're calling up and talking to other, you know, camps of different defensive midfielders now. You know what I mean? So why is it? Are they just in case the Scott price doesn't come down? We want to have we want to have another name available in terms of an alternative like we just did, so that we have two deals lined up because the Scott thing is still a risk. I don't know, but he was a very, very serious target. It's the reason it's all unpredictable is because the Ederson thing fell through, to be honest. That's the reason it's all unpredictable. Yeah. But I'll try to find out. I haven't yet been able to have enough by way of new conversations for figuring out what we're going to do next to be certain. But I could see us waiting for them to cave on him. Yep. And looking at alternatives in the meantime. I could see that. But because we haven't done it yet, I'm still thinking about other names. Just because we just haven't done it. So, hard to be confident until we actually make our move, you know what I mean? That's how crazy it's been, though, following us. But I think over the next week, we're gonna get clarity on a few more targets. I really, really do. We could move on other targets in the meantime as well, to be fair. On outs, no, I see people keep speculating like there's going to be some surprise out, but who, man? We don't have a ton of saleable assets. Joshua Xerxes looking less likely to leave right now. Halftime, France versus Spain. Bruno, you think someone's going to trigger that Bruno release clause? That's the only crazy, like, out of nowhere thing.
Would a player from abroad be accepted as the 3 mid?
From a player from abroad? Yeah. I think so. Xerxes, our good vibe ambassador. Yeah, we could get a player from abroad for sure. It's certainly not out of the question at all, that we get a player from abroad. No doubt. Not at all. Mount needs to be sold. I just don't think that's possible. I just don't think it's possible, man. The one other thing I do have to say on the injuries, guys, is that, look, United will feel very, 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 very confident in their medical department now. That doesn't mean you can stop injuries from happening. That's not what I'm saying. Like, that doesn't mean you're like magic and suddenly you can go, we're going to stop all injuries. What I'm saying is that United's medical department, their fitness, their data are there to prevent injuries. But I think they also are confident that they have a infrastructure and an expertise to understand whether the injuries are something that will recur or whether they were predictable, preventable outcomes. Do you understand what I'm saying by that? Like, I think that's an important part of all of this, which is like, there are unpredictable injuries, there are unpreventable injuries, and all of that. And then there are injury-prone players, and there are players who have gotten injuries. Some of it can be just the minutes. Some of it can just be minutes. Some of it is just like, well, player played an enormous amount of minutes. It was actually quite predictable that they were going to get injured. We know why they got injured. We're not worried about it. And then there's injuries they think, hey, there's actually a problem here. Like with, for example, Ederson, which was like, we're worried about this situation. We're worried about this in the long term. So if they sign someone who's had some injuries, great. And this applies to like Kone and other ones. Is it a case where the player, his body seemingly can't hold up to an ordinary amount of minutes? Or is it a case where they were burnt out for a little and we plan to use them in a different way? Is there mismanagement involved? They seem to be fairly confident in their ability to address that. Ooh, good point, by the way. Updates to our board here. Did it all. Just funnily enough, we've been having this sit in the column. Move all of this to the done. We haven't actually announced to Roscoe. We've had him sitting in this done column, but I thought it was just because of 8. We'll leave. So Santos, Darlow, Tielemans. Into the done column. There you go. Crazy couple of days. Our board was empty, and now it's getting full. So, yeah. Lacroix way better than option than Romero. I really like Lacroix as well, and I've got him on my board. See, he's been on my board for a long time. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I really like Lacroix, and I would be happy to see us sign him. So, yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan. I hope I would happily see us make a move for him. Let's do something here, okay? My handwriting's really bad. What are you talking about? It's really bad. Let's redo this real quick. Let's rewrite the names on the midfield in chaos. To bring it closer and write it, and then we will let's rewrite this, okay? I'm gonna write the names down again. I'm gonna redo this side, okay? So, the names we have. We still have Scott on the list. Still have Mecha on the list. Still have I'm keeping Baleba off of it because I just can't see it. We have Kone on the list. It sounds like the Buwadi one is essentially dead for us at this point. Who are other real names? We have João Gomez. We have Adams. Technically have Sanderberg still. I'm not putting Baleba on right now until someone says it's actually not off. I'm not putting him back because as far as we know, this is not a deal that is happening. Something has to change for me to put Baleba back on this board. I don't think he should be on here. I don't think he should be on here right now. I'm going to try to write things a little bit neater. It's hard to write well on a whiteboard, I'm telling you. Got Hall. I was there. Kamavinga? I can't put Kamavinga on until I can't put Kamavinga on. Oh, you guys are so funny. Bale, Schneider, so funny. Just kidding. I'm not putting Sangare on there. We don't have a single link. Yeah, but I know Baleba got mentioned on the deal sheet, but he keeps getting said in every single podcast that we're not going for him. So,
what athletic midfielder do Spain have? Technical over PNP. Bring me Wharton. Let's suffocate our opponents.
That's true, Mike, but don't get it twisted. Spain suck. I mean, if you've watched this game, my opinion, I want nothing to do with the way that Spain play football. It's all crap and tactical fouls, and also Rodri, to be fair. Rodri is a hell of a ground eater. So, to be fair, they do have Rodri, of all people. I mean, you can't just ignore Rodri. Rodri is not Wharton. Wharton is not Rodri. But I also absolutely am disgusted by the way that Spain play football. It's so crap. I'm sorry. It is. It's so slow. I'm not a fan. But yeah, they also have a Rodri. If we had a Rodri, I'd be good with a Wharton. All right. Now the names are even smaller. They're nice, neat, and unreadable. And I don't think it's how we want to play. I don't think it's how we want to play either. Yarmouk, I have like Sadiki, Yarmouk in my mind, but these are the only ones we have links to from others. I'm trying to keep it to that for now because it kind of says it progresses. But if Yarmouk or Sadiki comes up out of nowhere, I'll be ready to take credit.
Tielemans gives shades of Thiago to Liverpool.
Yeah, and there were some good moments in there. Let's hope he stays a bit fitter. He stays a bit more fit. That would be nice. Sure. Ross Barkley. But yeah, I mean, Rodri's having an insane game so far, by the way.
Pep ruined the sport. Roberto Martinez is a terrorist too.
I agree. Sadiki is smaller than a hobbit. What? I don't think Sadiki is that small, man. He's pretty small. He's managed in the Premier League. But yeah, there's a lack of height here. The Roma managers come out and said Kone will likely move. The agent is shopping the player, the managers, and driving a hard bargain. Doesn't scream of a club negotiating with United, right? And then you've seen the mention that there's other clubs involved in it. I don't know. Like I said, to me there's a bunch of things that don't add up on Kone, but we'll see. We'll come back to it. I'll tell you this, okay? We've had surprises, but I haven't been wrong yet this summer on something like this. We've had surprises. We totally have. But I've yet to be wrong on this point. But we'll see. We will see. How can I have Adams but not Baleba? Because I've never been told that we weren't going to go for Adams.
To James Garner? He shows up in every chart for midfielders when we look. Also, do you think we get both Pound and CB or just one?
I just won. I still don't. I'm not confident we get a center back. And with James Garner, again, the club know everything about him. I don't think he wants to return. He signed a new contract this week this summer at Everton. I just think it's a non-starter on James Garner. Would you not want Manu Kone? I don't think Manu Kone makes sense for our final signing, like at all. I think he would have made sense if we were like as a straight swap for Ederson. Kone made more sense. For me, a depth signing, all-rounder type midfielder who's good at quite a few things, right? For me, Kone does not make sense for the final midfield spot. For me. That's my opinion. I look at Santos, and I think that's your defensive midfielder there. And then you've got Cobby and Tielemans for the other positions to progress. I just don't see the need. Santos can pass. Tielemans can pass. I'm looking for a different profile of player personally for that final signing. If we didn't sign Tielemans, I would have been more open to Kone for sure as an alternative to Ederson. But now that we have Tielemans, I just don't see the need. For me, he's just a similar player. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but I think they're similar profiles where I'm going, do we need that? Why? Like, what does he give us that we lack? Is my question. You know what I mean? What is he giving us that we would lack? Is Kone? That's what I'm looking for. He's a good player, but what does he offer that we don't have right now? Like I see that I'm not sold even on Baleba, but Baleba makes a hell of a lot more sense to me. So I'm just kind of like I don't know. That's all I'm saying. It's not a dislike thing, but he doesn't add up to what I've heard we want. So I'm sort of like, huh? I think he is being overhyped by the World Cup. Absolutely. Again, people begging for him now. We're not talking about him a month ago. He's also got a tough run on terms of certain injuries and things like that as well. He is absolutely overhyped by the World Cup, 100%. That doesn't mean he's a bad player, but he absolutely is. There. Yeah, he's playing ahead of Tchouaméni at the moment. Like this is sort of the exact point. Like he's playing more forward, and watch him. The way that he plays, it just doesn't make sense to me. That's all. Kone also shares an agent with Tchouaméni and Mbumo, FYI. Just so you know. And somebody who hypes him up a lot might have some agent links there. And I believe it's being a bit overhyped for United in particular. I think that somebody else. I think there are other clubs in, and it helps. It's convenient. The link is all I'm saying. Again, maybe I'll be totally wrong here, and I'll be showing my ass in a minute, but not literally. I can't do that, but that's what I think at the moment. But time will tell, man. Time will tell, man. Yeah, you see it, main. Mm-hmm. The thing about it is that I've always said one thing, which is that like some people do, like people do underestimate like that. Some people have sources and things like that. It's more about understanding what those sources are and where they're coming from. And then which perspective is it coming from is always what matters too. Yeah, France don't look very good right now. My timer going? Okay, yeah, it's on time. Who do you guys want? Is it Baleba? Oh, Yamal. Oof, he's taking it too far. Offside. Who do you guys want? Like, who would be your choice? Baleba? For me, Scott and Baleba make the most sense. Like, logically, for what we're lacking. Scott. What, a Scott ad? He's like one of the most athletic and physical midfielders in the league. Young midfielders in the league. He's got a great switch of play. He's an excellent presser. He's an excellent off-ball player. He's a very, very good carrier who's press resistant. Like, if you want to compare him to Mainu, he's like, Mainu is excellent in small spaces. Scott is like Mainu, but for big spaces. He has the switch. He has the big space running, the pressing, the out of possession. He's a competent passer, not an amazing passer. Now, look, I don't want to get into like I don't want to get into a big negative thing on Kone because, well, I don't think we'll sign him personally. I don't want to be sitting there and saying a bunch of crap if United do end up going for him. I will say that when I watch him for France, I also don't get it. It's the same thing that I said why I don't see why he makes sense for us. He's usually not there in the midfield. He's very slow. He's very slow. He moves like he's very, very slow. That's all I'll say. Like he's I just don't see we can have the slowest spine in football if he signs for us. He is really slow. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's slow, and I'm not. It just doesn't seem like that's what we want. To me. And again, you look at where he plays out of possession. He stands high up the pitch. He's got good qualities. It just doesn't make sense to me. He is slow, though, Lisa. He is slow. Watch him score now. He might. That's not what I'm worried about. So did Casemiro. That didn't make him not slow. He's not slow, you just don't like him? No, but I mean, he is objectively slow, but okay. Don't know what to tell you. He is slow. He also, never mind. It doesn't matter, man. Like, there are also stats, you know what I mean? Like, he has the lowest distance covered of any of our midfield links or current midfielders. You know, in Serie A. Like, he is slow, I'm sorry to say. It's just a fact. He does not cover a ton of ground. I'm just telling you the truth, man. Due for Barcola. Good sub, I think. I don't rate Barcola that much either. I don't understand the... I'm not a big fan of Barcola. Especially not at the kind of prices mentioned. I make jokes about him being like French Garnacho, which is he's obviously better than that, but like I don't think he's that good. Right by Kone, by the way. Do you see the goal? That's right by Kone. Doesn't track his man. 1-2 right in his face and they score. It's like destiny. A 1-2 right in Kone's face. Great goal, Spain. Yeah, he just let him pass. He just let him pass. That's not my guy, man. I'm telling you, it just doesn't make sense to me.
One admitted getting approached by agents to talk about their clients being linked to United even if United are not interested.
It happens all the time, Glenn. It does happen all the time. He literally just watches him run. I hope we don't sign the guy, man. I don't know. I've never watched him and gone, yep, that's a defensive midfielder right there. I don't see it, man. Left. Oh, man. He's getting burned every play. Oh, Yamal and Digne. 3-0. Offside, 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 offside. Offside. Oh. Is it on? It looked on the first glance. It is offside, okay. How is Digne still on? I don't know. That is close. This is how we'll look with no six and slow defenders. I agree, man. This is this type of stuff that scares me when you see this kind of stuff.
That's exactly how I feel about Scott. Bailba PLS.
What is exactly how you feel about Scott? Oh. Broadcast has the sad France fan clips ready, apparently. Yeah, they're just being run at, huh? I mean, they're... Wow. Yikes. They're going right through France's face here, man. I mean, their midfield is getting severely outworked. Rodri looks incredible today, unfortunately. That's a bit depressing. City getting prime Rodri back. He looked off for a while, but he looks really good here. France are really struggling here, man. Well done. Mbappe gets a corner. Oh. Oh, Digne, terrible touch. Ends up in another. Yeah, Digne is stinky, man. Goes to show athleticism means F all compared to a technically secure midfield. I don't think that's what that shows you at all, unless you're saying that France is full of athletes, but I'm watching One get run over and commit another foul. If anything, I'm seeing the opposite. I mean, don't get me wrong, Spain's midfield is very technically secure, but they're also more energetic than France right now. I mean, Rodri's outrunning everybody. France are really struggling here, man. I mean, they can do something out of nothing, but it's not looking good right now. Oh, Mbappe almost scores. Oh, that was deflected. Okay, yeah. Tchouameni and Coney are athletes, but he's not. I don't know what you mean. That just, again, there's just people misprofiling him.
As one of our key profiles, what happens if he gets injured and we're left with an immobile midfield? We need a similar profile for squad balance.
We definitely need more. That's my argument about 4. And maybe, you know, again, why I asked the other day, like, what if we went back for Ederson later on? I don't disagree with you. We don't have enough athletes in the midfield in general, but yeah, I don't disagree with you. I would get 4. I would get 4 midfielders just for that reason, man. Hmm. Well, not looking good for France here.
I really don't understand all the K1 love on Twitter right now. He's slower than my grandfather and plays in Serie A. Ederson is better.
The narrative's gone, man. The narrative's gone. The narrative's gone for me. I like I said, I don't get it sometimes. I watched enough Ederson from previous links to go, hey, there's a player in there that I understand why we would get him. I don't think he's an amazing player, Ederson, but I do think he's a very solid player. But it mostly is that he brings something to the table we did not have, something unique. These other guys, I have no idea what they bring to the table. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't think he is better than Ederson. But whether or not you rate him, all I'm saying is that Ederson is an elite runner. And you could say, well, I don't care about runners. Runners suck. We don't need runners, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. At least he can run. Got that going for him. At least he can run. Elise off. Elise and Digne off. Digne off way too late. Cherky and Tio Hernandez. Okay. Hmm. All right, well, let's see. These last minutes, man. This is crazy. These last 20 minutes. If the fact that France haven't even got a goal is mad to me. Like, they've looked like the team that could just score tons of goals and no one can stop. And Spain have looked so poor all tournament, but damn, their performance today is exceptionally good. Spain have been so tough. Mostly in the midfield. Their midfield has just completely dominated this game, man. Hmm. That looks offside for Spain. Hmm. This is rough, man. Rough for Spain. Unexpected.
Serie A is the most shit league. I'm pretty sure Fellaini still plays there.
Maybe. I don't know, actually. That's possible. That looks like a bad foul from Jamal. At least a yellow, right? Wait, this referee is playing this really soft, isn't he? Hmm. Take it back. Lacrosse sucks. I'm telling you. You will see the light on Romero. Oh, Kone's getting run in circles, man. Oh, that was almost in. You thought I was trolling with the Romero talk? No, no. You'll see. I love Ashley Young, as does Ghost Me. Love Ashley Young. I will always like Ashley Young. He was also a good for us under Ollie coming back and being a veteran president. I'm a president's presence. I'm a good fan of him. Why do I only see Kone? Because that's now who we have all these links to. I don't think we're signing Tchouaméni anymore. I've also seen a ton more of Tchouaméni doing really well at Madrid and in different circumstances. There's Tchouaméni winning a tackle and a throw. I've seen enough Tchouaméni, but we're not signing him anymore. Kone? If there's another player in this game that we're linked to, please inform me and I'll talk about how they are playing as well. Oof. Due. Oh, that's so bad from Due, man. What a terrible shot. That's so bad from Due, man. He should be one touch, bam. Takes forever and doesn't even get a good lift on it, dude. Rabiot's France's best midfielder, by the way. Has been for a long time. I don't know what they did there. That was awful from Due, though. Come on, France. Oof. There's a delay between me and you, so just so you know. Yeah, he didn't even touch him. Spain definitely know how to make a game kind of boring, but at the same time, man, they've been effective. It's crazy. Traffic comments. Jesus, dude. Oh no, the hate campaign has already gotten ongoing, man. I don't want to do that. What if we sign him? We have to flip around and support the player. You have to. You have to support the player. Traffic cone is too elite not to do anything.
Spain winning this tournament would be terrible for football. Like Arsenal winning UCL. Meaningless possession obsession is worse than haram ball.
I hear that. I hear you, but I gotta say, they've been really good today. In the second half especially. I know it's boring, but they are very, 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 very effective in the way that they are shutting this game down. To be fair. Yeah, I have to be fair to them because I didn't like their first half. I'm not saying they're playing great football right now, but it's a lot better than Arsenal. This is quite brilliant, this second half, the way that they've shut down. It's really, the second half has been extremely effective for them. I have to admit that. I have to admit that. It's boring. I mean, it is boring, but yeah, they're really good at it, man. Wow. What a kick by Tchouaméni. Now that's an athlete right there. Oh. Oh, Doué. Oh, he gets the foul. Fair enough. Okay, I was like, I thought Doué made a huge mistake there, but Mbappe. Hmm. I don't think France are getting a goal here. The defending from Spain is too good in the box, man. No, it wouldn't change my mind because it's like we don't. I mean, look at him right there. Ball pops up. He's just getting run in circles here. Like, look at him. He's getting run in circles. It's embarrassing, dude. Like what that entire sequence there. That's why I'm like, huh? He literally just gets run in circles. I they're toying with him. I don't understand. No, it's like it's not about goal scoring or putting a good cross in, but that's why these guys get hyped by tacticos and stuff, because it's like, look what they can do with the ball. Okay, what about like the rest of the game? You know, it's not just about attacking versus defending. It's about actual off ball. Like off ball is most of your time, even in possession. You know, um, it's all of that, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. If we want to actually replace Casemiro, get Kone. There you exactly. I'm really not looking for a like for like. Plus, we already got Tielemans, who can be a bit slow out of possession, as well. Yeah. Correct. 88 minutes of every game is players off the ball. Exactly right. Oof. France, yeah, this is becoming an embarrassing game for France, man. It's over. It's over. See you later, Jacob. See you later, Jacob. Argentina or England versus Spain in the final. I'll tell you what. Oh, no, I'm not going to say it to my English. I think England would have a much harder time than Argentina. Against a very possession-heavy team like this, I think England would be... I think it's like the worst possible case for England. This is this type of football from Spain has been English kryptonite for 20 years, man. I think it has to be Argentina, and it'll be. I don't think it's going to be a good game, but I don't think England can beat Spain. It's the type of football that England really struggle with. That just English football really struggles with. This is embarrassing. England are built for counterattack? No, they're not though. They're not though. They're not built for counterattacks at all. They have no. Spain are very, very, very suffocating. You have Jude, it'll be fine. That's the only hope. Jude. But we've seen this story before. Playing against Spain with English teams is brutal, man. It's just the style is so obnoxious. No matter how good English football gets, Spanish football is always a pain in the ass, man. Kone? No. I thought he was going to take a shot there. It's over. Well, didn't expect that. Genuinely did not expect that at all. Crazy. Wow. Well, there you have it. Okay, I appreciate you all very much. I will be back tomorrow for Argentina versus England to see who faces Spain in the World Cup final. Spain were brutal, very effective in that game. Very, very, very effective. Completely deserved every second of it. Wow. Okay. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for hanging out today. Let's see what the next days bring, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay? Have a good one, everybody, and good night. Make sure to smash a like on the video on the way out. I'll see you later, guys.